who serves the president's meals, tested positive on Wednesday. Miller is married to Stephen Miller, one of the president's senior advisors. And tonight, her test is raising questions about whether the White House is doing enough to distance the president and vice president from others. For his part, President Trump told reporters today the whole concept of tests aren't great. Those are his words. And he said he's convinced the virus will just go away without a vaccine. His own advisors have said that's not true. Tonight, the number of confirmed cases in the U.S. has grown to nearly 1.3 million, and more than 76,000 have been killed by COVID-19 nationwide. It all comes as we're learning just how many Americans are now out of work. Today, the unemployment rate reached 14.7%. That's a number not seen since the Great Depression. And there's late word tonight about that mystery illness affecting children that may be connected to coronavirus. Doctors now say it has taken the lives of at least. There's a lot of news to get to on this Friday night, and are covering it all. CBS's Ben Tracy is going to lead us off tonight from the White House. Ben?
Nora, every White House staff member with close proximity to the president and the vice president is now being tested every day. But despite their potential exposure to the virus, the president and the vice president are not following their own administration's guidelines to wear a mask and quarantine. News that one of the vice president's closest aides, Katie Miller, tested positive for the virus delayed Mr. Pence's scheduled trip to Iowa. Miller was not on board Air Force Two, but 6 staffers who had recent exposure to her had to be removed.
Katie, she tested very good for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden today she tested positive. She hasn't come into contact with me. She spent some time with the vice president.
Miller is with the vice president nearly every day. Her husband is senior presidential aide Stephen Miller. President Trump attended their wedding in February, held at Trump's Washington hotel. Despite the potential exposure, Mr. Pence did not wear a mask while in Iowa. We also now know that President Trump was in the same room as his personal White House valet on Tuesday, the day before the valet tested positive for coronavirus. Today, the president still addressed a group of World War II veterans at a VE Day ceremony without wearing a mask.
The wind was blowing so hard in such a direction that if the plague ever reached them, might be very surprised.
The president says he's now being tested every day and so far is negative. But doctors say that may be a false sense of security.
Somebody could become infected, be incubating the virus, and test negative every day, including yesterday, then this morning become infectious, still feel fine, and spread it to other people before the next test shows that they are in fact infected.
Contradicting his own medical experts, today the president said the virus will go away even without a vaccine.
This is going to go away without a vaccine. It's going to go away, and we're not going to see it again.
Meanwhile, the administration's shipments of the drug remdesivir, which has shown promise in treating the virus, have been slow to reach some of the most hard-hit hospitals, frustrating many doctors.
I think it's been somewhat chaotic, and it has not been a transparent process.
Now, the White House press secretary was asked today if the president will ever wear a mask, and she said that's up to him. But sources say that the White House is convinced that the American people do not want to see the commander-in-chief wearing a mask.